Welcome to the IIBA Tampa Bay, Florida chapter. This is our study group for January 18th of 2024. This is our 103rd study group. Today we're going to have a fantastic interview with Cathy Gaston. Our mission here is to bridge the gap between industry leaders and business analysts by building partnerships with professionals, educators, and employers so that we may empower, and instruct, and engage the BA community. We have a worldwide community. We have people that join from all around the world for our live meetings, and then we have people that join for the recordings that we post on YouTube of these meetings. If you have joined us, you're welcome to join us as an IBA chapter member, or you're just welcome to join our study group, whichever is better for you. But reach out to us on LinkedIn and let us know that you've joined. Your encouragement means a great deal to us. We've given you a lot of ways to reach us. This is our Thursday night study group from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States. We also have LinkedIn groups, meetup groups, Zoom, study group materials in our Google Drive, including our attendance sheet and meeting recordings. The IIBA website as well. If you need the meeting recordings, they're right here on YouTube. They'll be posted in the chat for your access. Watermark Learning has been our constant supporter through these study group meetings. They've given us a discount code of Tampa Space 21 for 20% off of any of their products. That includes flashcards, study questions, practice test questions, a variety of other things, and not only on business analysis, but other topics as well. I encourage you to go check them out. Our membership is led by our leadership. We're a volunteer-led organization. We have just recently had 2 new people join our board, and I'll have them on here for the next meeting. Cliff is our president. You see him here in his Millennium Falcon. Yulia is our vice president of finance. Bob has been our constant supporter, being our CBAP in residence. My name is Thea Soren. I'm the Vice President of Career and Professional Development. It is my job to present to you the topics that you're interested in learning, which means you need to tell me what you're interested in learning, and we will get it presented. If you need reviews of your use cases, your user stories, your resume, a situation that you have that you want mentorship for, call me, contact me on LinkedIn. That's what I'm here for. We have 2 people that have committed to taking turns being here for our study groups, and now we have a 3rd. Uche is going to be our new CBAP that we have listed. Because they are here, you get to claim this hour as a credit hour of education whenever you apply for certification tests. So we keep track of those for you. We do celebrate the wins. These are people that have contacted us and said, we couldn't have earned our certification if it hadn't been for your study group. And we're very excited about that because, as you know, we don't charge for study group. We don't charge money. We do appreciate your attention. We appreciate your interaction and your conversation as you attend our study groups. But let us know whenever you pass your certifications. It's important to us. The IIBA certifications, currently, there are 7 of those. These are the 3 that we work on during this study group. After you've passed your CBAP, you have the opportunity to build on top of that with any of these other certifications, which are not a long certification like the CBAP is. I encourage you to look at it. On January 4th, we had an interview with Cliff Gray, and it was heavy-duty databases, and it was very, very cool. Last week, we had Rohit, and Rohit talked about using Excel with data and slicers, and we geeked out. It was wonderful. And today we're going to talk with Cathy Gaston. Cathy's going to talk about how simplifying business analysis can help enable better project investment planning and execution. Cathy works with me at HCSC, and I'm very, very excited for you to hear what she has to say here. So Cathy, I'm going to stop sharing and let you take over. We can't hear you yet.
How about now?
I can hear you now. Thank you.
Excellent. I am really excited to be here with you all and have a conversation that's pretty interactive for us. So please, at any point, jump in. Thea, I'm not sure of our duration, so help me manage the time of the content.
We are here for 55 more minutes, and if anybody has a question, if they want to raise their hand, I'll interrupt Kathy periodically to get your question asked.
Fantastic. So I'm going to share a presentation with you all, and we're going to do a couple of fun and interactive things as part of this presentation today. Can you all see a presentation with a puzzle piece on it?
We can.
Excellent. So what I wanted to share with you all today, first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've got, as Thea mentioned, I work with her at Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's HCSC is the formal name of the company. It's comprised of 5 different Blues plans. So Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, Illinois, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Montana. If you all are familiar with the Blues plans, there are many in many different states across the United States, and there are different business models for each of the Blues plans. Sometimes a plan is independent, sometimes they're part of a larger company. We all belong to an umbrella called Blue Cross Association. We have to do things as a business and as a company to call ourselves Blue. There's a reason that I'm telling you this as a part of my introduction. It will matter when we get into the conversation. So I've been with the company for almost 30 years, and I've been in many, many different roles. And the role that I'm in right now is that of a business architect. And we're going to use business architect a little bit loosely because it's a functional role, not my corporate job title at the company, but it's the role that I'm fulfilling. As we get into the conversation today, I am curious about your roles and the role that you play in the organization. So we're going to talk about making the right connections, how we are able to co-create value in our organizations or in really anything that we work on using our skills and tools that we have. So some of the areas that we're going to take a look at is the value of architecture. If you think about your house or the place where you live, it was built based on a blueprint. There are all kinds of layers in that architecture. There's the construction components, there's the waterworks, there's the electrical. All of those things have to go together. So we're going to use a little bit of that thought process as we get through this conversation today. And really, in an enterprise or in an organization, when I'm talking about architecture, I'm not talking about just the technology. I am talking about the blueprint. We're going to look at a little presentation in just a moment that kind of tells a really great story about the value of architecture. What's important to keep in mind is that it persists and evolves. Your architecture is always your architecture. You can choose to use it or not. I would advise against or advise to always use it. Don't not use it. It's a rather new discipline that is emerging right now, I think, in a lot of corporations. Different than the delivery methods that you use once you're a project, whether you're waterfall or agile, your architecture still applies. Whether you are funded work or not funded work, your architecture still applies. Your architecture is a constant steady as you move through an organization. One of the areas that I am particularly passionate about is around value streams. So value streams, if you think about different business models, your value stream represents the capabilities that your organization needs to be able to perform in order to be the business that you are or are part of. It's a way that you can visualize work and align leadership expectations. Incredibly valuable. In my experience at HCSC, there have been many times where I've worked in many different roles where leadership was not aligned. If you all can imagine this for just a moment, that you might be engaged in defining processes where leaders are not aligned, it is a tough nut to crack to get the alignment that you need to get work done. There's the political aspect of it, and then there's the actual work that needs to get done. Sometimes the work is hard to overcome when there's politics. I have come to realize that having a conversation based on architecture helps manage some of the political varied interests that might occur inside a single organization. We're going to talk about enterprise design as a really thinking. If you're thinking about what your enterprise needs in the context of an architecture, this enterprise design thinking can help you pull out the right tool for the job that needs to be done. And there is really a mentality of continuous improvement. Value stream management and value stream mapping is an activity of continuous improvement. If any of you all have experience with lean practices, it is an element of lean practices. So with that, let's talk a little bit about our connection. I would love to hear from some of you all, given the introduction that I've just shared with you all. Let's talk about what you do, how you do it, and I can share with you a little bit about who I am and how I use these tools in what I do. So as you're sharing your information, and we don't have to go around the room, we don't have to tap everybody. If you particularly want to share with the group, please feel free. I'm curious to know what you're passionate about in your role. How do you add value? And then what do people expect from you? This is going to naturally lead you into all of the disappointments that people have and might be expressing about the function of a business analyst in my world and in my experience. I've had a lot of relationships with a lot of business analysts who play a role that is jack of all trades. They've got skills in every dimension, and a business analyst is called upon quite often to fill the role of some other missing element, in addition to doing the job that you're there to do as a business analyst in the first place. So just to share with you all a little bit more about my role is I have had experience in the portfolio management space. So in the place at HCSC where we do the investment planning. Year over year, we have annual investments that are new capital investments. We have operational ongoing work all day, every day. And most of my career has spent time in that space where I am part of the team that helps understand and budget what it is we're investing in. What I am passionate about is once the company has invested in the work, are we getting out of that investment everything that we expected to? I care about the value proposition. I care to know by investing this money, what is it going to do for our customers, for our business? How is it going to help advance where we're going? How I add value, to be perfectly honest with you all, if it's a status quo, it's a no-go with me. If you want somebody just to, perform the same activities day over day, that's probably not me. I will not add value. I will probably subtract value and diminish value quickly. What I do is pull varied pieces of information together, whether it's investment, whether it's a strategy component, whether it's an operational component, whether it's a technical component. and I help put those pieces together for the organization. I have been in almost every operational area of our company at one point in time in my career in various different roles. And what I am really great at is connecting the work that needs to be done to the right people at the right time. And what do people expect from me? A lot. And that's okay with me. I like to be called upon. I like for my leaders to reach out to me and say, hey, we're having a problem with this thing. Could you help us solve for it? Whether it's a formal project, whether it's an informal conversation, I like to be a resource for people throughout the organization. Our company is about 20,000 employees, and I like to know who the decision makers are across the organization. I like them to know who I am, and I like to help them overcome barriers and blocks to the work that they need to get done. So I will pause in my conversation and turn it over to you all a little bit. Thea, you're friendly and I know you well. Maybe if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about our connection and then how you connect to the work that we do.
Sure. They say that relationships are what get you jobs. Well, guys, this proves it. I reached out to a friend of mine through LinkedIn, had lunch with him. A couple of years later, I find myself needing a job. I reached out to him and I told him what was going on. And he said, I'm going to introduce you to somebody. That somebody was Kathy. I had all kinds of interviews, but this was the job I wanted. And I get to work with Kathy, and she has taught me so much about value streams, and there's more for me to learn still. But I'm excited about it. So let me answer these questions. What am I passionate about? Business analysis helps make people's lives better. Whenever we improve process, automate tedious things, it makes people's lives better. And I love that. How do I add value? I take chaos and I try to make it into something that's controlled and logical. Doesn't always work easily, but I do the best I can. And what do people expect from you? That changes depending on each role, but they better expect high things from me because I'm going to deliver every single thing I can.
Thanks.
Anybody else want to answer the questions?
I would love to meet you all.
I'd be happy to.
Yes, please.
Yay. Hey, Jim.
I am Jim Simmons, Senior Business Analyst with UW Medicine. I spent about 12 years on the payer side, about 10 years of that with a blue here in Washington State. We cover the Washington, Alaska, WAMI region, Washington, Alaska, Montana. Anyway, so I understand that side of it, the payer side of things. And then I got the opportunity to join UW Medicine a little over 14 years ago. So now I've been on the provider side. And what I love about my job is walking the halls in the hospital, helping patients find their way when I'm on my way to a meeting, and really seeing how our work in the computer, in the IT department, or work with computers and processes helps those patients in a very underserved population. We have 58 different languages that our translators speak because we are the #1 trauma hospital in the region. And so learning the clinical workflow was very exciting, and just watching all of it happen made it very real. My passion is helping and serving those populations that we help. But moreover, as a business analyst, I spent time as a senior systems analyst, as a developer before I went into project management, and now I'm in formal business analysis. I love designing systems and participating in projects where we help people understand how to get to their future state in an organized way, in a way that when they get there, they're not surprised. And in addition to those projects, those development projects, we also have a very strong process improvement effort at UW Medicine ITS, The one that I'm working on right now is how to help people that are participating in projects to decide on which deliverables will actually add value to the project. So we're designing a way to do this with a checklist and then a follow-up at the end of it where the participants get to say, you know what, this took me 10 hours to create this deliverable and it was invaluable, or this deliverable took me 500 hours and we never looked at it again. So we can start understanding what all of our teams are actually doing, because there's only 4 business analysts in a department of 600 people. And so we've got lots of analysts out there that are doing business analysis work. We want to know what they're doing and figure out how to get them all talking together and marching in the same direction so that we can actually create testable requirements. So that's how we add value. We're trying to reduce the number of project extensions, budget extensions, timeline extensions, and generative projects after they go live to fix the projects that went live before they should have. What do people expect from me? Pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Haven't figured that out yet, but putting together requirements and representing processes in an organized fashion that adds value. And right now I'm working on RFPs for the first time in my life. I've never done an RFP before, so I love new stuff. But also just everything from work that's sort of more enterprise level strategic stuff to designing workflows and getting people to understand each other's role in the project, whether it's the workflow in the project or the workflow on the floor in the clinical area.
Thanks, Jim.
Do we have one more brave person?
Jim, that's a very politically correct way to say that.
Which part?
No, the whole rabbit out of the hat. Usually I would pick a different body part.
So my name is Sue Lefrink, and I work at Montana Public Employee Retirement Administration. When we are taking over, I am a systems analyst and a business analyst, and we're taking over for a contractor. So we've had a contractor that built a system for us, but we don't know anything about the system. So we are hiring all the people to start doing all the development, and a lot of the pieces didn't get put into place that we were hoping for in the contract because we ran out of time and money. So it's a big challenge to be able to document information, and we have a lot of documentation to go through that is not accurate or has said that we have stuff that we do not. So we spend a lot of time figuring things out and trying to test them and to try to figure out where things are broken and what they should be doing and what they need to do now. So we need to, bring in some better tech like business rules engines and things like that, because we deal with a lot of rules and regulations in our environment and they change constantly. So it's really hard to keep everything up to date. So how I'm hoping to add value, because I'm new in that position, is to be able to document everything and look at the current documentation and get it updated. And then I really love what we talked about last week about visualization of things, data and processes. So I really need to get up to speed on charting things out because, like you said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And really, we need those visuals because right now we have like 30, 40, 50-page documents, and people's eyes glaze over after the first 5 minutes in a meeting trying to review business rules. So I'm really looking forward to what I can learn from this study group. So that's one way I hope to add value. What do people expect from me? I think miracles right now. So I am trying really hard on that front, but they are very understanding and very happy with what we can give them because right now they don't have a lot. So the happy meter is pretty low. So it's really easy to hit that bar. So I'm excited about that part. So I thank you for your presentation tonight, and I look forward to hearing what you all have to say.
Thanks,
Thank
Sue.
you. Let's ask one more person. Andrea, would you give us yours?
Sure. Thank you, Thea. Yes, hi everybody. I'm Andrea Torelli. I'm calling from Wellington, New Zealand. I work for the Department of Conservation here in New Zealand. The Department of Conservation is in charge of 1/3 of New Zealand land. So 1/3 of New Zealand land is conservation, and we are in charge of keeping it and waters, actually. Land and waters is conservation here. And so we're in charge of keeping it, making sure that visitors come and have an sterling experience. As you know, a big portion of New Zealand economy is tourism. I am currently a business analyst, studied not long ago, but I feel like I've been doing lots of different roles that were about analyzing the business. And what am I passionate about is mostly about building relationship with people and giving solutions with people to people. I can relate a lot with everything that was said before as well, what Thea said, what you, Katherine, said. But yeah, I think that the key motivator for me is to make people's life easier. My little heart is on the rangers, so we have the rangers out there in the parks, and I want to make these people life easier when they're doing the hard work. How do I add value? I think, like, well, I've done multiple different roles, but usually always in the same way. Helping to develop training strategy was what I did the most, and in that also delivering training. And I think that the way that I provide value was simplifying very complicated systems and providing an explanation of how to use them to this very diverse range of people that we have at the Department of Conservation. What do these people expect from me? I think the hardest question is what I expect from me. I expect to do great things for people and really help them. And sometimes those helping people is really hard. So yeah, I think that what people sometimes expect from me is to fulfill my expectations, because nobody put it harder than me. So yes, that's just a little bit about myself, and really keen to hear more about architecture, because we recently had some change on the IT department, and the architecture team was gone, and I feel like a massive gap there. But yeah, keen to
That's
hear
very
more from you.
exciting.
Thank you, Andrea.
Well, thanks for joining us from down under, Andrea.
It's a pleasure. It's a great timing for me. It's 1 p.m. here in New Zealand.
So with that, continue to jump in. I want to make sure that you all have an opportunity to share your experience. But one of the common connections that I heard, even though each of us are in very different places, every one of us care about people. Every one of us want to be helpful in making things easier for the people that we work with and the customers that we serve. And every one of us has sky-high expectations of ourselves. And I would guess probably gravitated to this role, these functions that we're in, so we could be helpful to more people across our organization. If I were a betting woman, and let's just pretend I am, I would absolutely believe that that's kind of the nature of all of us. And it is tough to bring all of the people and their interests together, get them aligned on a target or multiple targets. I can't think of a time that I've worked on an initiative where I did not have 5 other things competing for my time and attention, and other projects coming in sideways, or some other effort trying to do the same things that I'm doing. It matters when you're designing solutions that you understand the landscape that you're moving in, getting that highest level purview, if you will, 60,000-foot view of everything that's happening in an organization. So you can then take it and drill down on how what you are specifically working on is the same or different than all of those other competing interests, or helps it, right? Those are conversations that I know we all have all day, every day. So with that, we're going to look at a couple of pieces to the puzzle together. One, I'd like to share a quick video with you from one of my favorite presenters, Dr. Raj Ramesh, about what the value of business architecture is. It is a beautiful, quick video. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to take a look a little bit at value stream definition. What is a value stream and why is it helpful? It's a visualization of groups of processes, and it helps align expectations like you wouldn't believe. And we're going to look at the relationship of value streams and processes. For the work that Thea and I are doing together, we're hand in glove. It's what we need to do and then how we need to do it in order to be successful. It is the what and it is the how with all of the who's. And then really staying focused on being of a mindset that we're always in a continuous improvement cycle. Whether you subscribe to lean processes or not, whether it's formal or informal, really nothing that we do is ever implemented and then walk away from it. It seems that all things old are new again, and we stay in a constant cycle of continuous improvement. When we think about requirements that we write or strategies that we're trying to execute against, I can't think of a time that I started a single strategy and it didn't turn into multiple initiatives. And we just had to pick and prioritize over time what we were going to focus on. It was a constant conversation of this or that, this and that. What happens if neither? You know, it is a constant negotiation that each of us are responsible for all day long, every day. So as we discuss our connections, we're going to find gaps, right? As we dive a little bit deeper, there are real pain points for us. I am also interested in hearing, as we go through this conversation, what do some of these frameworks leave you wanting more? Where are the gaps? As we look at some of these basic frameworks, there is a lot of organizational change management that needs to come along with some of these business processes. If you have a value stream that requires a leader to really get, aggressive in transforming an organization, but then you don't have a corresponding organizational change management strategy or a communication strategy that goes with your process development, you are going to have processes that you work really hard on getting people to understand that sit on a shelf, get stale, and grow old really quickly. How do we keep it alive? How do we keep the conversation and the people and the business environment changes in context with the work that we're doing at a point in time? And then what I'm also going to share with you all is the toolkits that I'm sharing with you today. I'll give you all of the reference documents that I'm looking at, all of the tools that I've referred to. I want to make sure that you can add these tools to your toolkit. If you want to talk more about them after this conversation, after this session, I am happy to. And I actually took down your name, Jim, because I want to talk toolkit with you after this conversation in one of the areas that you mentioned that I'm also working on. So we'll share each other's toolkit and get better together. So with that, I would like to bring over a presentation just right quick. and share a little quick YouTube video with you from the lovely Dr. Ramesh.
Tell
Can
us
you-
who he is real quick, Kathy.
Raj Ramesh is an enterprise architect, and he creates a lot of content on LinkedIn about process improvement, about enterprise architecture, about how to create value, how to measure value. Jim, that's the thing that I wanted to talk to you about. I am particularly interested in measuring value and proving that value is what we say it is, either qualitative or quantitative. I am always looking for how to measure it better. And it carries a lot of weight when it comes time to make decisions about what work to do or not. Dr. Ramesh is brilliant at it. And he does it through illustration, which is his superpower, not gonna lie. So let's take a look at this. Thea, can you see YouTube video that's kind of a blank screen right now?
See a blank screen right now.
Perfect. Can you hear it?
Business architecture
Yes.
is the blueprint of the enterprise that provides a common understanding of the organization. There are many parts of an enterprise: people, processes, technology, data, knowledge, products, etc. Business architecture provides ways to represent how these things work together and through the access channels deliver value to the customers and generate revenue. Just like how a blueprint of a human body can take multiple forms, such as muscular system, circulatory system, nervous system, skeletal system, etc., the blueprint of an enterprise can take on different forms, such as the capability model, process model, organizational structure model, systems topology model, etc. The business environment continues to change every day and at different rates. Some changes come fast while others are gradual. For an insurance company, a natural disaster is a fast change, while new competition is a slower change, but the company needs to adapt to both of these. Other drivers of change include changes in regulation, customer expectations, technology, etc. If the enterprise has a blueprint, then executives can evaluate their goals and strategies against the blueprint. Strategies drive objectives that initiate projects that execute on the strategy, which in turn changes the blueprint. The blueprint can be used as a mechanism for executives to experiment with different goals and strategies to understand the implications of change before the change is effected. After the goals and strategies are formalized, the blueprint can be used to track the transformation to the desired future state. For example, to meet the growth goals of the company, say executives have chosen a strategy of expanding in emerging markets. They can subsequently evaluate the capabilities that have to be developed or enhanced to realize that strategy. By virtue of identifying the capabilities, they can prioritize the projects that impact the processes, skills, technology, information, etc., that make up the capabilities that are required to realize the strategy. The blueprint provides executives a common understanding of the enterprise. This ensures that the goals, strategies, projects can all be aligned, thus reducing redundancies and saving time, money, and resources in transforming the enterprise to meet the needs of the future. Other benefits include a shared vision, better decision-making, ability to forecast threats and opportunities, better management, higher level of customer satisfaction, all of which drives increased growth and profitability.
So that is enterprise architecture, business architecture in less than 3 minutes. I think he does a really great job of capturing illustratively all of the moving pieces that we all have to consider every day as a part of the jobs that we do. So, Jim, when I heard you talking about the work that you're doing, and Sue, some of the work that you're doing, and Andrea, some of the work that you're doing, your job description is absolutely business analyst or systems analyst or business and systems analyst. Your jobs also seem to include a whole lot of transformation type activities where, Jim, it sounded like you were having to pull strategy out of your leadership as you are getting into some of the work that you're doing. And Sue, it sounded like you had a little bit of that too, where you're looking for the best opportunities to help your end user, whether those are through processes, whether that's through training material. Like, you sound like you're really raising a flag for some of the areas where focus is needed. We all count on that kind of skill set every day. So just a business analyst creating process documentation, I want us all to see that we are connected in a way that is far greater than that. It matters in this space that your business architect, your business analyst, your systems analyst, that we're connected together and that we have those kinds of functions and roles filled. It helps us all get done what we need to get done every day. So I'm going to push pause right there on my presentation component and ask you all some of your thoughts on just this map and this conversation so far.
Well, I'm going to speak up because whenever I started learning about business architecture, I had this vague idea that there was a reason companies chose to do the projects that they were doing for a reason, but I didn't understand it. And I'll be absolutely honest, I live in the process. I mean, I know the process. That's where I live. That's where I think. And whenever I start thinking about the other things that go along with it, it's like, yeah, that's out there, but this is where I live. But the more I learn to associate my process with the value streams and the business rules, the more everything becomes crystal clear. So I'm excited for y'all to hear this.
Thanks, Thea.
Yeah,
I agree, Thea. 'Cause
honestly,
as
I like
you were,
this too.
yeah, as you were saying, Catherine, I do also have the top part. I don't know what the strategy is, so I did have to ask management, what is your vision and where do you want to be in 5 years? And try to get them all on the same page because they all had different opinions of where we wanted to be. So I had to do that as well as the documentation. So you're correct.
All of this stuff is in the BABOK. All the artifacts, all the processes, all the connections, all the things you can do directly or indirectly. And it takes a certain amount of experience to be able to visualize how all the pieces fit together. It took me a little while to realize that the BABOK is written in a very general way, because no matter what the scope or scale or details or kind of organization or participants any effort involves, everything could be different, but you always kind of qualitatively and theoretically do the same things.
It's true. And it's always a shift in context, right? So if you were thinking about this organization as a sphere and it's 360 degrees, it's a globe. It's always the way that you're looking into the information and the problem that you're trying to solve. It's bringing that awareness and that clarity to whomever you're talking to, whenever you're talking to them, to help articulate the perspective that you're coming from and how you're trying to help someone or many someones.
Yeah, I see that often. I always show this picture, and
It's a cool
it shows that you cannot see everything that's going on in one picture or one viewpoint or the knowledge that's in one person's head. You have to use a whole pile of these artifacts and carry on very long conversations, and in the end, they're really all driven by cost benefit analyses.
That's right. And how you're able to articulate what is valuable, right? So when we look at value streams in particular, and we look at, I'm going to pop forward right quick. If you look at, what is a value stream, and then what are business processes? Business processes are activities and steps that you move through to demonstrate that you have a capability, either immature capability or a mature capability. Your value streams represent what is your business model. So if you'll think back to when I was introducing myself, I shared what Blues plan I was with. The Blues plan that I'm with, our business model is that we're a not-for-profit organization. Not every Blues plan is a not-for-profit. So when you think about Anthem, that's another Blues plan that I've worked at. That is a for-profit organization. The stakeholders at HCSC are all of our members. The stakeholders at Anthem are all of the investors. Two different sets of stakeholders, slightly two different interests. We try to, at HCSC, try to spend our capital investment on projects in ways that are going to benefit the customer at the end. Anthem spends dollars not only on how to satisfy customers, but how to grow different revenue streams, two different business models, two common sets of capabilities, slightly different capabilities over here at Anthem, slightly different capabilities over here at HCSC, but still a Blue Cross plan, still an insurance company with health benefits, dental benefits, medical benefits, and we work with lots of different third-party vendors. So when you're looking at your business model should express all of the things that you should do as a business. Your operating models and your business processes should describe the activities and the decision-making criteria that are needed to satisfy your business model. So when you think about your operational metrics, they should be around what it takes to deliver the goods and services for your organization. When you start looking at your performance measurements for your business model, what does your growth and revenue look like? And how do those two things relate to each other? Always a context that should stay together. If you operate in a way that takes away from your growth opportunities, or you're not investing in your growth opportunities, you're not going to fulfill your business model in the way that you think you're going to. It matters that these two go together. So I want to share with
Catherine,
you.
we have 12 minutes. I just want to keep us on track.
Thank you so much, Thea. I appreciate that. So a real quick look at the relationship and what some of that context could look like. This is more illustrative than it is specific detail. But when I think about capabilities, I think about a value stream, which is this largest blue segment. This is an operational value stream, repeatable sequence of activities that need to deliver a product or a service to our customers. Our customers that we're talking about in this context of this value stream, order to cash for group coverage, we sell lots of different kinds of insurance, group coverage, individual coverage, we've got national coverage, we've got types of coverage where we only do the administrative services. The labor component of a company will hold the risk, so they will pay the claims. We just do the administration of those claims. You think about the groups of activities that need to happen. We have to configure accounts. We have to set up products and benefits. We have to make sure that we're meeting all of the legal requirements around the contracts with a particular group or sets of groups. We have to make sure that we're able to enroll the members. And we have to make sure that once we enroll the members, they can then enroll their family, and then they can start to receive care. These capabilities are a natural reference model, lots of different industry reference models, whether you are a health insurance company, whether you are a life insurance company, there are common reference models that are out there that can be used. This reference model that I'm demonstrating to you all is both a general health insurance reference model with a little bit of blue flavor on top of it. And happens to represent the highest level processes that we do as an organization. So they're really intended to reflect the strategy. As a business analyst is engaged, we move down to the point where we're actually looking at logical processes and process groups and different kinds of tools then that deliver those processes. So when you move down to integration specialists, you're really talking about how the technologies are working together. So if you've got multiple tools in your organization that fulfill different components of your processes or deliver on some of those capabilities, you want to make sure that they are integrated with each other and then trained and educated across your organization appropriately. What is useful is how you can see that whether you're a business strategist, which could mean a business architect, a business analyst, also a systems analyst, moving into process architecture. What does the data layer look like? What does the technology layer look like? What are those business rules that are specific to application A or application B? And then how do we implement those in a sequence that fulfills our business strategy over time? Easy to work up and down this pyramid all day long. This is when you've got the right people connected together, working together, specializing in their area of focus, but partnering. And this kind of takes me back to the type of thinking that I heard all of us talking a little bit about today. You know, we're really interested in solving big problems. We care about the people that we work with. We care about the processes and the clarity by which people are able to consume them, how we're able to identify solutions, get the right buy-in, make sure that we mature specific areas of capability in our organization, and use our tools that we have available to us to the best of our ability, and think in a continuous improvement mentality, always looking to make things better, always looking to help our business partners, customers get through where they're trying to go to. We bring a specific skill to the table to do that. And we do a great job of being able to measure those solutions over time to demonstrate that value. So with that, I want to thank you all for your engagement, first and foremost, learning more about you, and looking forward to how we can connect, and looking forward to how we can leverage each other's toolkit to continue co-creating value for our organizations and in our lives.
Thank you, Kathy.
My pleasure.
Can you go back to the previous slide?
This one?
No, the one
triangle?
you just, that one.
Okay.
Good, thanks.
My pleasure.
Getting to steal screenshots off of Kathy has been one of my favorite things.
I'm going to give you all of these tools in your toolkit. I'll even
All
tell you
right.
where I got them
Steal
from.
them from
Oh,
everyone.
great. Thank you.
If there
Okay.
is one thing I like to do, it is cobble together and curate some fabulous graphic work.
Can you go back to slide 7? That is my absolute favorite. Folks, if you didn't take a screenshot of this, I suggest that you take it, because you can look at it and you go, well, this is where I live and that's what's above me and that's what's below me, and it enlarges your brain. I don't know why, but I love this slide.
And this is a graphic from APQC. So if you think about, and you go to their website, they have this graphic posted on their website for your use and consumption. I have used this graphic more times than I can tell you in 30 years to help articulate where we need leaders to focus. Leaders need to focus up here, level 0 and 1. They do not need to focus on integration, but I will tell you,
Right.
they love that integration conversation.
They get into it.
They do.
We have a request, Kathy, for you to give us another talk in the future about measuring value. Is that something you would be interested in?
Oh my gosh, yes. If I can please do it with Jim, that would be excellent. Jim, can we do
Ooh.
that together? He might have left.
I doubt if he.
Got my
He's still here. He's clapping hands.
He's clapping hands. Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. So we have a few things. First of all, Kathy, thank you.
My pleasure.
Y'all put it in the chat to let her know how you feel about it. What you have taught us here is important for us as business analysts to be able to understand how our leadership makes decisions on projects. And it also helps us know how to talk to our leadership about projects that are important and why they're important to them. So we can be speaking their language. Next week, we're going to have Bob talk to us about his framework. As you know, Bob has been working on his framework for a long time. He's got a website that is phenomenal, and it's got some really great stuff in it. Not only has he cataloged every single one of our 100 recordings, identified what's in each one, and given you links to all of those by topic, but he's also put together a framework, and he's advanced it with his new understanding after decades of experience as a business analyst, a mechanical engineer, and probably 5 others or 7, maybe 9 other things. So he's going to talk to us next week about that. Then the following week, let me check my notes here. The following week on the February 1st, Heather Noggle is going to come talk to us about security. She said, what do you want me to talk about? And I said, start at the very beginning. Explain why single sign-on is important and explain the basics, and then get into what is the current developments and what are the things that we need to know as business analysts. So she'll be here on the 1st. If y'all have any requests, or if you know somebody who would be fantastic for us to hear from, have them reach out to me, or you reach out to me through LinkedIn, and I will work on getting them booked. We want to finish our professional series strong, and then we'll go back to practice test questions, and so that we can go through the BABOK for a 3rd time and practice those questions, so that if you're wanting to take your certification, you can. And if you just want to know more about the BABOK theories and techniques, or be a better business analyst, it will be beneficial for you. If you have any questions, reach out to me through LinkedIn. My name is not right on the screen. My name is not Thea Raisins anymore. I've been married a year. I guess I should update that. My name is Thea Soren, and reach out to me through LinkedIn, and I'll be glad to help you out any way I can. And if you are interested in linking with anybody else in the group, I'm sure they'd be willing to as well. But link to me. I will see y'all next week. Have a good week, guys. Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.